Hi, welcome to the Leong Form. My name is Hossan.
I'm Stanley.
Brothers. And we bring you a very special, fragrant podcast today, which will heighten your senses. We'll be learning more about perfumery and how scents can affect your mood. Where do you spray? What do you do? Where else can you smell it? And all those things that will make an impression.
Yeah, that's right. And, while we're also talking about perfumes, I think some of us have that habit of overdoing it. I mean, Dad, for instance, right?
Oh, yeah, our dad, yeah.
Our dad, for instance.
When growing up, used to be like, psst,
yeah.
like, Dad!
I'd wake up for school, not because of the alarm clock, but more like, oh, what's that smell? It's just overpowering and it seeps through the bedroom.
I think I kind of inherited that from him.
kind of. I've even, gone to work before, and then you walk into the office or the elevator and you're like, I know who has been in this elevator right before me, right? I mean, have you had that experience?
Yes. Yeah, well, today we're going to be speaking with an expert, entrepreneur Jason Lee, founder and CEO of local artisanal perfume label Scent by Six. Now, he has followed his nose for, you wrote the script again, right?
I wrote the script.
For creating fragrances that evoke emotion, because I think smell and scents are so important to bring back memories, to let you feel. And so I'm very happy to have him here. We are very happy to have him here on the Leong Form. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having me, Hossan and Stanley.
Oh, most welcome. Yeah, and don't forget, he was also the Entrepreneur of the Year, and that was in the year 2022. We're going to be talking about some of his latest collections as well. One called The Reflections. We'll find out more on this journey.
No, so let's start off, Jason. What's the proudest moment of your career so far?
Well, I must say, that day when I received the news that we actually got the chance to, craft this signature scent for the Singapore Airlines, that moment, I feel so proud of myself and my team as well, because I think in the early days when I first started the business, I've toiled, and I told myself, after all this hard work, one fine day, if I can ever create a scent for our Singapore Airlines, that will be a dream come true. That is the day where Scent by Six will then travel around the world,
global,
and be made known around the world.
Absolutely. And it's called Batik Flora.
That's right.
Because as you can tell, I'm a big fan. So tell our listeners where they can smell it on Singapore Airlines. Is it on the stewardess? Can you imagine?
So if you do visit the lounges, you can actually experience the scent welcoming you when you arrive at the lounges in Singapore Airlines lounges in the airport.
Right.
At the Ion Orchard Service Centre, you can also experience that as well.
Okay.
That's right. And the moment you arrive and you board the plane, the crew will also present to you hot towels. You can also pick up that scent, from the hot towels.
Oh, amazing! Yeah. Can you imagine that you walk on board the plane, they spray you?
And lastly, not to forget, you can also get your hands on the scent via Chris Shop also. So it's available in the format of reed diffuser, as a pillow mist.
Wow.
Yeah, if you do like that.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And also Eu Yan Sang.
Yeah, Yuan Sang. I mean, we know that to be a TCM, long-established company. You think of, we were saying Yok Choi Po. Our Cantonese listeners are tuning in. Those herb shops sort of thing. And certain smells come to mind, right? I mean,
herbs. My mom used to cook us black chicken soup. Then
with tang kueh.
Tang kueh. Do you smoke? Is that what you smell like?
Ginseng, things like that.
So yes, and that was actually for a celebratory event.
Okay.
That was before COVID-19,
right?
And we were actually commissioned to come up with a scent that is inspired by certain TCM ingredients, with the view, of helping Yuan Sang to frame themselves as the leading brand that is, relevant to the younger generations, and you have also that linkage to the heritage as well.
Yes.
So we're trying to see how a scent can actually marry these two together.
Wow.
So we actually, incorporated ingredients like you said, some ginseng. with goji berry, together with other perfumery ingredients to come up with a scent that is perfectly balanced between TCM goodness and olfactive beauty.
This could be the first in the world, right?
Yes,
Right.
It is.
It is, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
But help us understand what goes on inside your, I suppose you have a laboratory. It looks like, some kind of place where you have...
Like a chemistry lab.
Yeah, chemistry lab. Right. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens in there?
Okay, so maybe I should first start off with how many ingredients are there in a typical scent. So normally when we smell a scent, let's say you walk to a departmental store and you pick up a scent and you wonder, what's in there. Typically we see 200 to 300 unique ingredients in a scent.
In one scent?
In one scent. So this is how long a formula can be. That's right.
My goodness.
Even though, when we perceive that scent, we can only identify certain key ingredients, certain key directions. However, I think behind such directions, there are actually a strew of different ingredients combining different properties together to bring out the unique directions that you have been smelling.
So it may seem simple, like you only smell one scent, but actually it's so much more complex.
That's right. That's right. And long time ago, typically, I think when perfumers, when they mix fragrances, it is a long process of trial and error.
Yeah.
So you have to smell, you have to try,
Adjust the volume.
and then if it's not good, you got to start over again. So it was back then, tedious. Right now, I think with technology, it is made so much easier because you have actually got formulas which are already embedded into the system. And the system will also prompt you in relation to where else you can actually make adjustments, where are some of the boundaries, for the creative process. So exactly, where you can try, where you can actually explore more without having to, breach certain boundaries. And then later on you find out that, hey, it actually doesn't really comply with certain standards. Or
the human then has to set the parameters, right? It's not the system that can smell in itself.
Yes, so that's right. So objectively, there has to be a certain standard set in relation to how much certain ingredients can be placed in the formula to comply with certain regulatory standards. Yeah, so this is something that is embedded in the system. So when they actually advise you, you can actually, in one glance, be very clear where you can maneuver in that process.
Right. So that's great because you're talking about all these processes and, but let's go back to the very beginning.
Right.
Jason
a very
Lee.
good place to start.
How
Indeed.
did you start this journey? Because did you teach yourself? How did you learn? Why perfume?
Certainly not at home. Yeah, for sure. So I actually joined a Swiss fragrance and flavor house called Givaudan. That was way back in the year 2010. Yes, and I joined as a management associate. I was very fortunate. The company gave me opportunity to be rotated around different departments, functions to learn about creative perfumery, to learn about sales and marketing, to learn about operation, finance, and thereafter I was given the opportunity to also handle key accounts in fine fragrance, in consumer products in Philippines and Indonesia. So, from there, I actually had a deeper understanding on fragrances, and it goes beyond perfumes.
Right.
So as I've mentioned, I've handled key accounts dealing with consumer products, and these will pertain to your products like shampoo, detergents, fabric conditioners, and anything with a scent. We will be the expert. Yeah. So that was very fortunate experience I've got. And I was also very fortunate to have met very kind mentors who, time after time, they always seed very rhetorical questions. So what is your dream, Jason? What is your passion? Yeah. And, and then they will share about their own experiences. And I think some of them actually, went deeper and they said, Jason, I'm at the tail end of my career. And, I feel that I have not been achieving much because, even though sales numbers were going up year on year, things were doing well. People, I'm well respected in the industry. But, I had this fear because the moment I step out of this corporate ladder, where would I land, right? And some of them actually told me that, it is unfortunate that people will tend to forget about what you have done. You will sort of, be forgotten, in due course, right? So they said, so what is that thing that you really want to achieve out of your career?
What's the legacy you want to leave behind?
Exactly. That legacy. Legacy is the word that they had emphasized upon. And I had a lot of deep thoughts, especially after my 30th birthday, on the question of what's my passion? And I got scared because at that point, I was like, wow, I am 30 years old right now and I don't even know what's my passion. Okay. What am I passionate about all these years? So then I told myself, never mind. I think maybe we just take a step back, do some deep dive reflection on myself and to think about what I'm really passionate about. And then I realized that the more important question is not about passion, but about purpose. So that actually led me to a better trajectory in terms of this thinking process. And I also had the opportunity to speak to another mentor who actually told me about the theory of time and money. So the value of time, I think it is something that we don't really pay much attention to. But I think one thing he told me is you can earn a limited amount of money, in the world, in your lifetime, but you only have limited time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, this is something that is so unknown, absolutely unknown to you, how much time you have left.
Yep.
Every second that's passed, you can't take it back. So what is it that you want to dedicate your time to? Right. And then he managed to quantify it, It's quite interesting. So he said, so how many days of leave do you have in a year?
Right? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I said, okay, 14 days. I was a junior, employee back then. So then he said, so okay, now we have 14 out of 365 days. So, out of every week, how many days are you working, right? And I said, 5 days, and sometimes during the weekends. Then every day, 12 to 13 hours, at work and off work, you're on your laptop.
Yep.
And then, something struck me. So basically, if you are actually going to get employment on average from the age of 25, and assuming you live all the way to your expectant age at about 83, for Singaporean males, I would say, safely that more than 50% of your time you are spending it, at your workplace or at work. So
whether you like scary, it or not, right?
I think, if you quantify how important time is in relation to the quantity of it, then I would say it's arguably more important than marriage.
Wow. Because
you're really spending more time, at work than, at home, right?
At home, yeah.
So if marriage is important, if marrying the right person is important, then I think the more important question is how
much time,
or how you want to dedicate your time, at work. And is that even giving you that purpose?
Wow.
So it's quite a profound, thinking process.
It is yet not though, because you think about it, you break it down, right?
Right.
I'm looking at you.
It resonates with me.
Yeah, because it resonates with you as well. And so then because of that, you thought, okay, your passion.
That's right.
Is perfume or scent. Why scent?
Scent, because it is something that resonates with the deeper side of yourself. And I call scent by six because six, when we smell fragrances, there's a strong connection to your emotions, your memories, your sixth sense. It was quite fun because initially I wanted to come up with 6 scents to complete one collection.
Right.
So it's a play between the two words, sense and sense, so 6. But yeah, I think the ability of the fragrance to actually resonate with what is deep inside you, something that many people will not be able to articulate all the time. Even when we are dealing or talking to people who are less fortunate, they don't have the ability to express themselves, or mentally speaking, they are at a less ideal level. A scent can actually go beyond just smelling good. It can actually touch them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's something that I appreciate in the course of my work. That the scent can go beyond smelling good. It can make you do good and feel good as well.
How have you seen the power of scents moving people, or moving the way they're feeling, or just moving them in general, right? To recollect a certain past, hopefully positive memories, or like you say, doing good. How does it propel them to do that? I mean, just by a whiff.
Right. So excellent question, Stanley. And that actually led me to think about, when I first started volunteering in the community, I had the opportunity to conduct free workshops, for the less fortunate. And I do remember this lady, Madam Tan. She's an elderly lady suffering from dementia, obviously. And I had the thought of actually wanting to come up with a scent for her, something special, with the hope of, maybe helping the family to see whether she can be triggered in a way, certain memories can be rigged in this process. So I spoke to the family members, I spoke to the caregivers to find out more about her life experiences, her, what she used to do. So I understood that, on weekends, she will usually visit the temples, with her deceased husband to offer incense. Her go-to drink at the kopitiam will be the kopi o kosong. And, she would love to, used to love to, bake pandan cakes as well. So then I got back and I decided to, try something that is brave and different. So I put all these ingredients together and try to come up with a formulation that is distinct with these ingredients. So I brought it back to her and allowed her to take a whiff. And what happened afterwards was actually priceless. She teared. And when I looked around the room, her family members, they were all in tears. And it was then that I realized why I was doing all this work. She even blurted out the name of her deceased husband.
Wow.
So that was a very striking moment for me, and I think it sends a very strong message that a scent can go beyond smelling good. It can actually rekindle memories, to heal emotions, and to bring people together. And I think, it is something so intangible, but, to the family members, I think on the deeper, more intangible side, this is priceless.
Yes, absolutely.
To just witness such a moment, for her to even have that reaction, it's like giving them the chance to travel back in time.
Yeah.
So many years they've shared with me that they have tried so many ways to help her to rekindle some memories, but to no avail. Yeah, and just having this moment, it is already something that is so priceless that money can't buy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well done, Jason. Amazing. Wow.
Thank
So
you.
it's and you're right though, because when coming from an actor's point of view, there are methods that we use to rekindle emotions as the character, and we rely on these things. And it's called scent memory.
Oh,
So, for example,
interesting.
if there's an emotion that I want to do as a character, and what I would think about the running through the lavender fields and what is the emotion I felt. And then, I mean, it's not as tangible as just like smelling it, but the memory of that smell.
Right. That's right.
So I think that connects with Madame Tan, is it?
That's
right. As well. So so such an amazing, powerful tool that scent is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't complain because back then I would like to share another story. Oh, it was in 2016, I actually traveled to Hokkaido with my then girlfriend.
Yeah.
And back then, everywhere we walked to, it was so romantic and embracing, with the lavender that you have been telling me about, and the green tea, right, around. They're so apparent. So I just wanted to come back to bottle these memories. So I tried to mix them together in formulation in a nice perfume, and I decided to propose to her with a scent.
Oh,
so that was the reason why she said yes. I hope that wasn't the only reason why.
So wait, that scent is on sale, right?
Yes.
What's it called?
27 degrees Fahrenheit Bay.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you said lavender, that actually struck my mind.
I remember that scent as well. This is one of the first few that you had formulated, the first three, right? You came up with.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. So one was actually Bay, a scent that was inspired by the trip to Hokkaido. And then there's another one inspired by Boracay, and one, actually by New York.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
all these are actually inspired by my own personal travel experiences.
But how do these places inspire the scents that you end up formulating? I mean, you go around smelling people in those areas in the subway, and I have no idea.
It's more than just that olfactive side of things. I think I actually wanted to capture the sense of time, the sense of temperature, and also the feelings that you have in such context. So, for example, in Boracay, I was given the opportunity by Givaudan to be seconded to Philippines, and I can tell you, well, back then I was single, and so I had the opportunity to travel every weekend, right?
Yeah.
So I did like 8 solo trips to Boracay. It was amazing.
Okay.
It was like a mind healing trip, So during the weekend, you just want to zone out. So take a 45 minutes flight to Boracay, and read a book by the beach and just, enjoy the scenery, the sunsets. And I truly appreciate that experience. So, all these little moments, the smell of the sea, the temperature, even though it's sunny, but it is cooling, right? And that mind healing, feeling that I got from those trips, I just wanted people to also experience that as well. Conversely, for New York, it's a very different experience.
Yes.
So you want people to experience that zest,
The rush.
yeah, that vibrancy of the whole place, how diverse it is. So you want to also excite people with the scent. So it's very, very different. And the scent has the power to do that.
Yes.
It can actually make your heart beat faster or slower depending on the scent itself.
Yeah. And it affects the person that smells that scent on you
That's
as well.
right. Yeah,
Right?
how you are being perceived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you brought up that temperature actually can be, that you can transform that into a scent.
Yes.
Because in different countries when you've lived in different countries, I've traveled different countries, when you walk out of the airport and you smell, besides the pollution, the temperature of that place, the city, has a smell, has a scent. And it's so interesting to bottle
And it's
that.
a very significant dimension to your experience. Yeah. So I think, it plays a part on giving you that memory about that place. And also, on the more objective side of things, temperature, let's say, it is colder, it makes everything more apparent.
Yes.
So you can smell better. So your senses are heightened.
Okay.
So that is a more scientific way of actually framing, how you actually get better reception of the things that's going around you.
What's your favorite scent, Hossan?
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
if it's like something in nature or in life.
It changes, I think. Because I think for me it depends on my mood as well. So sometimes it's Hikaru.
Right.
You know, the new range that you have, the Be Yourself one,
Yes,
which I
yes.
like as well, or the Journey one. But so it kind of varies from kind of rose woody to completely sometimes floral. I don't know. It's a mix for me. Sometimes I wake up one morning and go, okay, I want to smell like this or I want to smell like that. So I had a handyman come to my house to do something, and
The handyman had perfume on.
no, the handyman looked at my drawer and he went, 哇，你有很多 perfume 哦，
Either
很
that
多
or
香水哦。
Either that or 你很臭。
Hey, what? Thanks. But yeah, what about you? You, what's your favorite set? You don't wear anything.
Excuse me, I do wear clothes. No, but I hardly ever wear scents unless it's an event, an occasion, or something. Then I would just do a little bit of a squirt. But other than that, yeah, it's just for me. It's just deodorant is important.
Yes.
Yes, that one. What about yourself, Jason? What are your favorite scents, or do you have a profile that you
Actually, do the scents that you wear come from your own brand, or do you actually have fragrances that you buy from other brands?
So obviously, I think with my own brand, I've always been
You're the ambassador,
sticking
right?
to
Yeah.
27 degrees Fahrenheit Bay until today.
yeah.
It is still the scent that I it's my go-to scent.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
very faithful.
Yes, yes. Now, as a father of 4, I'm still in love with this scent.
Nice.
So, but before scent by 6, I must say there's a particular scent that is quite timeless. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with this fragrance called 4711.
Oh my goodness. A flashback.
Wait, that's not an aftershave thing, right?
47,
It's quite close to that.
11.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
a
cologne.
very fresh, crisp.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spicy. I don't know, but yeah, it
It's a fougere. So it has that marine,
yes, the
oceanic
sea. Yeah.
feel to that scent.
You're
It's
too
like an
young to
aftershave.
have that scent, no?
Thank you.
Hey, don't you say tabak only. I was like,
My answer is going to be short. Thank you.
yeah, but so 4711.
That's right. It is actually amazing because back then, this scent was actually the iconic scent
Yes.
that set the trend for fougere fragrances for males
Right.
back then.
What does fougere mean?
It's like aftershave.
So
You have that citrus, marine, oceanic element in the scent.
Fresh, kind of.
Very fresh, very dandy, very gentlemanly kind of scent. Some people like to call that your grandfather's scent. But
Okay.
I mean, it has a positive connotation to that as well
Right.
because I must say that the scent is so timeless. It
yeah.
does not go away. I
Yes.
think when you go to a function or a formal event and you wear that scent, you will never go wrong.
Is it still available? I'm sure it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, must go
Yes.
and buy it.
Yeah, I buy you for Christmas.
Thanks, it's okay. No, but the other thing I was gonna say, Eternity from Calvin Klein. It was very, very special.
That's right.
Right? That scent, I don't find it anywhere else because every other brand, I'm sorry, other brands, but they're all so kind of like, it melts into one another.
Right.
But Eternity stood out.
It has that iconic direction. Yeah. So
And they stopped it. I don't think they sell it anymore. I haven't
I'm
seen
not
it.
too sure.
Yeah, but it's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So it's like Chanel number 5.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I call the anti-scent, I shouldn't say. But yeah, you're right. It's the iconic scent,
Yes.
right? That people remember.
Yes.
So it's not all just marketing, right?
Not all just marketing, to be honest. I think if you do pay attention to the creators behind the scent, and you know what goes in the formulation, you know how to appreciate certain fragrances in the designer rack can actually be very significant, in many years to come.
But the pricing, though, the difference between, let's say, the run-of-the-mill, any brand, any brand, and then you have the Les Exclusives, and which is the pricing goes like that. Why is that so?
Is it all about concentration?
Yes and no.
Because it's all EDP.
Yeah.
Or the
What
Parfum.
is? Oh, okay, got it.
So I mean, if you compare apple to apple, say like you said, a designer brand versus a niche or an indie brand, right? And you have both of them having EDPs, and you compare them together. I would still say that yes, you are right. Niche and indie brands, the price point is still on the higher side as compared to the designer brand. Well, like what Stanley had mentioned, I think you have brought up a good point here because from my understanding, for designer brands, I think the main starting point when you come up with a scent is quite different from that of the indie brands because your target will be to capture market share. You'll be looking at the more commercial side of things. You will want to make sense of the market itself. What is trending in the market? What will actually sell well in the different markets that I want to target and to push. And you also have bigger budgets.
Right.
To get ambassadors, to get celebrities to endorse. So the kind of strategy is very different. As compared to niche indie brands, I think comparatively speaking, you have less or rather limited budget as compared to the really huge conglomerates. So the focus will, I would say, tend to hinge on the side of the ingredients. So we want to focus on the art of things, the art of perfumery. We want to make sure that customers or your supporters, they get solid fragrances with the most premium ingredients, and
Quality,
you can actually
lah.
quality. And you want the stories to also shine as well.
Right.
You want your supporters to also be touched by what you want to actually portray with a scent. So it's quite different kind of approach here.
Wow.
Well, Jason, you did not come into the studio empty-handed. You've brought along some scents.
That's right.
In bottles and canisters and such. Shall we do a show and tell right now?
Sure. Also, because the fact that you're not just doing perfume anymore for the person.
That's
but
right.
You have sent Singapore
Space,
Airlines.
yeah.
It's now spaces as well, bedrooms, pillows, so towels. Yeah. So what do you have here that we can smell?
So we have this is a mini nebulizer. So we have different designs and packaging. And also reed diffusers and pillow mist. And, back to your point about us, having so many different formats right now, it boils down to our renewed vision that we have, which is every mood lifted.
Yes.
Yeah. So we want to have the scent to also uplift you in the different moods in different times of the day. So when you work, when you study, when you go on a date, relax, right? You have different fragrances to help to uplift your mood your way.
Right.
So this is our vision and what we believe in, and that's why we try to help you to touch you in the different moments of your day. So when you are driving, you can actually use a nebulizer. When you are sleeping and you want something that is subtle, you can do a pillow mist to actually have a whiff of this scent to help you to sleep better. Yeah. And when you have guests at home, I think depending on how many people and
Whether you like them or not.
whether you like them or not.
Don't waste it on people you don't like.
Sure. Yes. So we have options to actually cater to different contexts.
Right.
And
So you've got like the diffusers, right?
That's right,
That
that's right,
can scent the room. Because for me personally at home,
Right.
I've got different diffusers, different scents in different rooms.
Oh, okay, I thought for different people who come in.
No, no. It's like living room, the study, the kitchen,
Right.
the bathroom, bedroom. So I think for me that's important. So every room I go in, I feel different. Okay, I'm weird that way. Sorry.
It's just Suzanne. Suzanne.
I think this is actually a fair comment. I would say, I do observe that this is quite a trend nowadays. When we speak to especially the younger supporters, I find that they are more mindful.
Yeah.
about the different moments, and especially when they found out that we do have fragrances to cater to different functions. So, for example, there was actually a series done in collaboration with the Caregivers Alliance.
That's right.
Yes,
you
so
did
that's
that.
a care range, right?
Yeah.
So we have a scent to help you to focus better, a scent to help you sleep better and to relax better. And these fragrances, they come with tangible and I would say impactful scientific function to that scent itself. So when I say a scent can help you to sleep better, when you smell the scent, your heart rate will come to a very optimal level, and we test it through Fitbits.
Oh.
Yes. So to see whether your light sleep duration is of that optimal level.
Okay.
I
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I thought I just sprayed it so it smells good.
It smells good, but you also can feel good as well.
It's true though.
Yes.
The sleep better range. The dark blue one is the
The dark blue one is relax better.
relax better.
That's
yeah.
right. Yes.
I love it. So it actually helps.
Right. So you spray the mist on the pillow?
Yes, with this distance for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's not
not too
it
near.
getting all wet. Okay.
Yeah. And getting all stained and wet.
You also
we
have
try to
the
avoid that.
diffusers that is always there, so the scent is always diffused in the
That's
room.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Actually, what's the best way to apply a fragrance? I mean, should it be on skin, on clothes, on sheets?
Right. So that's a very, very good question, because a lot of customers, they tend to worry, like, hey, if I were to spray on my skin,
Will they have an allergic reaction?
allergy? Yeah. I can't actually, say that, you definitely won't. But if you do have a history of skin allergy, then it is better not to do so, on the skin.
Okay.
Right? So if that is really the extreme case and you have to spray on your garment, for example, try to only do so on dark colored clothing.
Because it might stain your clothes.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that's one way. But otherwise, I think if you are okay with fragrances on your body, I think the best test will be when you bathe, right? I think the fragrances that's in the shampoo, in the bath gels, if you're okay interacting with such ingredients, I would say you should actually be fine when you interact with fine fragrances.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but I think there's a correlation there.
And you said fine fragrances, okay? Not
So
any
perfumes.
fragrance,
Yeah, perfumes.
Right.
Right.
So it all depends on your skin type and
Your
skin
sensitive
type.
it
Yeah,
is. Exactly.
That's right.
So let's go back to like fragrances like these, for example, and scents. There are so many kinds of profiles, right? Floral la,
Right.
earthy la, green, spicy, whatever.
Woody, Hossan. But Hossan's all over the place, so
Wait, let me see.
he can't really define Hossan.
No, but then I mean, because all these are so descriptive,
Yes.
and it conjures up. I went for a perfume masterclass with a brand once, and then they said,
Was that
okay,
the one that I was with you? We were devising our own fragrance.
no.
Oh, okay. Different one.
No. Anyway, they were like, smell, it was floral, blah, 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 whatever. But then, does it mean that if it's floral means it's for women? Or, kind of thing? Because
If it's
suddenly
woody,
you
it's
start to
for men.
segmentize
Yeah.
this into gender-based sense.
I understand. I think this is actually a valid point. And, throughout the years, I would say designer brands, they have actually managed to, craft out this sort of stylos, right? Segmentation of, different olfactive classes to different genders or different settings, for example. But I think right now the lines are blurred. So when we talk about floral fragrances, it is beyond just feminine fragrances. We do have a lot of male fragrances, masculine fragrances with very complex floral profiles.
Yeah.
And I would say it is also not absolutely fair for me to just say, feminine or masculine fragrances, because nowadays I think we see more unisex or genderless fragrances, gender-friendly fragrances. Yeah. So I think right now, when we speak about, directions, people are actually wondering whether this direction is suitable for me.
Right.
Yeah, so it's actually more specific, more personal, rather than, caring about what the stereotypes are, in the past.
I think it was marketing. I think a lot.
Marketing that led to such stereotypes.
So we have like one for women, for men. So you can say it's the same fragrance actually. Just sell it, bottle
commercially
it
it makes sense, right? To place them in different parts of the store. But nowadays, I think retail market is rather different. How people shop, how people perceive information in relation to what they want to buy is different. So, naturally, when we talk about deciding on what is your scent, that would definitely be different from the past when you decide on buying a scent, right? So the decision is different.
I remember, I think I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but when growing up, the first unisex one that really went big campaign was One. CK1, right?
Yes.
Suddenly it was sexy. It was, you can be who you are. And then,
that was a bold move.
It was a bold move because I think
that
was the first time I think.
No one had done that before.
Huh?
No one had done that before.
No one had done that before. And the campaign was amazing. And then I think in Singapore, they engraved a bottle for each of us. I still haven't used it, of course, because got my face down there. Like, who wants to use it? But yeah, this is. I think you're right though about the fact that the lines have been blurred.
Yes.
And you choose the scent that you are comfortable with.
That's right.
And you hope people are comfortable with too.
I mean, this is what you want people to perceive for
absolutely.
Of you, yourself, right? So it's empowering yourself to make the decision to use this scent because it's you. And it brings out the confidence in you, which is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, being yourself.
Let's talk about the options though, because for someone like me, more a noob than Hossan when it comes to fragrances, there's EDB. No, there's no EDB. There's EDT, EDP, and others.
It's not a finance podcast,
right? Current affairs one.
Yeah. So tell us more about the differences when we go and we're at the salesperson is bringing out all these options.
Our listeners might want to know, like, if I'm so confused, we go into a shop and there's so many to choose from. Same name but different EDP.
Toilet water and all.
Right. So, okay, great question because we get asked all the time in relation to what's EDP or the Parfum, what is EDT or the Toilette, etc., etc. So the difference is just in relation to the concentration. Well, typically for EDT or the Toilette, we have about 12 to 15, 17% of pure perfume oil mixed with bases. For example, your cosmetic alcohol, etc., etc. For EDP or the Parfum, we will have maybe double or even more.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot more concentrated. Yeah, so just based on these two, then customers will be asking me, like, hey, is it worthwhile for me to invest in an EDP, right? If I am really someone who loves a long-lasting fragrance, should I invest this amount of money to buy EDP? I would say, please hold back and test first.
Right.
No, because I have always been honest to customers saying that, whilst there's some truth in the fact that if the perfume is actually more concentrated, you will get better performance. Yes. But is that the absolute truth? May or may not. Because, you shouldn't forget about the interaction between your skin and the perfume itself. So it's actually a marriage. If the skin is on its outset unable to actually marry with the scent itself, right? So no matter how concentrated the scent is, it's not going to give you that desired performance.
Wow.
So you have to have that mindset that, hey, I must really make sure that this direction is suitable for my skin. So what I suggest to customers would be, you can test it out on your hands, left and right, and take a few hours walk somewhere, outdoors, sweat a bit, to see how your sweat can actually interact with the scent and with that additional heat we get from outdoors and all. And this is the true performance of the scent on you.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would say that's a fairer assessment rather
Right.
than to just think that, hey, it's more expensive,
Therefore must be
perceivably,
good.
yeah, lor. Yeah,
And then
so
but then you go to shops and they spray on paper.
yeah.
It's different, right?
Well, yes and no. So, yes, it's different. But sometimes we do that because, we some customers may not be comfortable. Right?
Okay,
It's
right.
a new scent.
Right.
What makes you think that the person may want to,
Yeah, I don't want to try it on me.
be brave and to try it on the skin, without smelling it first. Right. So that's the whole idea of using a blotter.
Of a blotter.
That's right.
And then there are different kinds of, like, what do they say? Every time they explain to me, they go, oh, the top note, and then the middle note, and then the
yes.
bass note.
Oh, that's during piano classes.
No, that one you fail piano class. So what does all that mean?
Right. Good question. So, scent, I think when we always have questions from customers saying, your promoters are saying, you smell this at the top note of the scent and all that, but it doesn't really make sense to me at all,
Yeah.
right? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I always show them this pyramid. So the pyramid will have ingredients at the top note part of the pyramid, the mid, the body, and then the bottom, the fattest part, the foundation. And I will start off, to talk more about the top note first. So at the top itself, you have ingredients that are actually lighter, they are smaller in sizes, in molecular sizes, and things like, for example, your citrus notes, your fruity notes sometimes in a more feminine direction. So the entire place at the top, the function of it is actually to try and attract you as a consumer.
Oh.
It's like love at first with.
Love at first with. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So it is a very diffusive part of the perfume because they are so small, they are active. So when you spray, this part will come off first to your nostrils. And you pick that up quickest.
So there's a top note.
That's right. Yeah. It is not meant to last, but like you said, right? Love at first with. The whole idea is actually to have the hook on consumers when they smell the scent. And then you proceed to smell, to unveil the body of the scent. Now, the body itself, I would say, is quite interesting. Yes, you may sometimes find that it's quite complex. Now, but functionally, this part is important because we have a lot of ingredients that are in there to hold the entire structure of the perfume together. So, whether the perfume will actually be consistent or not throughout your entire application. It depends on whether this part of the perfume is of better quality or not, or the ability of this part of the perfume to bind everything together, to hold everything together like a skeleton.
Right.
Wow.
So that's important.
That's the middle
part of the perfume.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a skeleton holding everything together, make sure that you don't fall apart so easily.
And that's different from the top note.
That's different.
Wow, okay.
And let me guess, the base is the foundation.
Yes. So you have the most expensive and the densest portion of the perfume there. So you have your woody notes, amber, you have patchouli. These are very common materials at the bottom part of the perfume. They're very heavy and they provide a lot of foundation to hold the entire structure together.
Wow.
So when I am describing to you, right, this is akin to me describing to you a sculpture. How you actually craft the entire, sculpture together to make sure that it is, visually appealing, but yet is stable enough, is robust enough, etc. So perfumery is something like that. It's somewhat invisible sculpting.
It's invisible art.
Yes.
Artistic indeed.
So then it's interesting though, if you say something like that, you smell it, you go, oh, okay, this is the top note. And then there's the middle one that lasts, is it? Or the one that kind of
Skeletons holds it together.
Holds everything together.
And then
the binders. Yeah.
And then after that, you get the
Yes.
at the end. Yeah, the
Right.
So what about
Impact.
lasting,
That's right.
the duration
That's
of
right.
the fragrance.
So you-
And then
absolutely.
how far the fragrance can go.
That's
like
right.
what's your radius?
Yes.
What's
so
the range it
projection,
travels?
the throw.
Projection.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
so-
how does it all work?
So I would say we have to actually draw the distinction here. So the bottom part of the scent, the foundation, right? You have expensive molecules and ingredients, and they actually play a huge part in the longevity of the scent. So that's different from projection.
Okay.
Yes. So how long lasting, a scent can be will depend on, whether you have quality ingredients in there to just hold the performance for as long as you can. But as in relation to, projection, the throw of the scent, then the entire structure will have to play a part already together. Yeah, because we are talking about the top notes working well with the mid to actually diffuse as far as possible to have that performance, the diffusiveness.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that is beyond just one part of the perfume, but it's the entirety, the balance of it that plays a huge part in projection itself.
My goodness.
Should people even think about wanting to leave a trail or just, have it around them wherever they are, but not let it linger
aura,
down
is
the
it?
corridor?
This is a very nuanced situation, So it depends first and foremost.
If you're the
which,
big boss or not.
or on the broader sense, right? What kind of society are you in? I would say typically, let's say like we take it to the extreme in Japan, for example. In the train, people are just so mindful. No noise,
Personal space.
no smell. So the criteria of a good perfume in Japan, you can smell, but no one else.
No,
So you
if
buy the perfume is for yourself.
Don't
100%.
share, right?
It's not for
really?
perception,
Wow.
Maybe yes, perception, but only to very, very close
So
loved
interesting.
ones.
So it's also cultural then.
Cultural, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So when you are, cramping like sardines in the train in Japan, you don't get that, aggressive diffusion of perfume, right?
Everyone's so considerate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is on the very, very extreme, side of things, right? Then from my experience in, say, countries like Indonesia, in Philippines, it's very different because I think maybe because of the climate.
The weather, right? We sweat too much.
And lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Also
we find that
show off.
yeah, and to different segments of society in such countries, having a luxury scent to them is actually very important. So to them, this is like a status symbol.
Yes.
For them to actually feel good about themselves, to actually deliver a message. So you want this message to be loud and clear. Like your microphone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You turn up and down the volume,
Make your
you want-
presence known.
Exactly.
It's funny because I remember reading Marilyn Monroe said when she only wears perfume Chanel No. 5.
Right.
She's nothing comes between me and my Chanel No. 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not spray one, it's the put one. And she said you place this perfume where you want to be kissed,
Wow.
which means it's not for
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So you have to come near
Yes.
in order to smell it. So
Yes.
so it's quite interesting. When I read it, I was like, wow, that was also quite profound, right?
She part Japanese or something?
Marilyn,
Yeah.
you ask her.
Okay.
All right, now we're gonna do we have anything for us to like smell and maybe we can
Maybe you can smell this.
and test
Hikaru.
okay.
Hikaru, this is your favorite.
Sounds
Yes.
like some
Yeah.
Japanese fish.
Yes, this fish.
I don't know what's Ikaru.
Hikaru,
Wow.
this is an
Hikaru.
interesting scent because
It's really
this is
nice.
actually our first foray into fragrance intelligence. So I've spoken about that, in the care range. And in relation to Hikaru, this scent is actually a scent that has the technology to make you feel happier.
I smell grapefruit. Is there a little bit of grapefruit?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Not buay pai.
So
You
it's
are
a
getting
good
better.
combination of grapefruit, and the key ingredient is actually yuzu.
Yes.
Yes, yuzu
citrus.
too.
Yes.
What's that one?
So we procured very, very premium yuzu concentrate all the way from Fukuoka in Japan.
Wow.
Yes, and this scent itself, it was made in collaboration with Singapore Association for Mental Health.
Yes.
So we worked with 3 young Singaporeans who was suffering from severe depression, and we wanted to come up with a scent to actually help them, to make them feel better. So
Wonderful.
yeah, this scent itself, after using for a few months, we spoke to the caregivers and they said, true enough, there were less episodes of depression.
Wow.
And how it works is when you smell the scent, more blood flow will flow to the part of your brain that will release more happy hormones. So that will actually correlate to an uplifted mood.
No, that's why I use it.
And it's a healthier option than vaping, right?
For those who do that illegally.
not allowed to
So I draw the line very, very clearly.
Yes.
Of course, that's totally different.
I think, we've almost come to the end of this podcast with the Leong Form and Jason Lee.
Yes.
Tell us, Jason, what is next for you?
Great question. I think for 7 by 6, we have been around for the past, since 2016. So this is our 9th year already. I must say, it has been a great journey. We have actually been, touching on different formats of perfumery. But moving forward, we still want to fall back on our vision. Every mood lifted. And every mood lifted goes beyond just smelling or smelling good. Not forgetting our other 5 senses. So sense of sight, sense of sound, sense of touch. We want to see how these senses can be incorporated together with a scent to deliver good experiences, good uplifted experiences for our supporters. So, this is how, as a company, we want to see how we can reframe ourselves in the midst of, the uncertainties in the market.
Yeah.
I think certainly, I think retail in general, around the world, has been changing quite quickly.
Yeah.
Us as a brand, I think we realized that the need for change is getting more and more imminent. So the ability for us as a brand to segue or to incorporate different means to actually deliver good experiences to our supporters is important. So, having this renewed vision to fall back on is indeed a fortune that we have.
And we wish you every success with that vision as you continue to, make perfumes and fragrances that, have such profound impact, more than we can ever imagine. Jason Lee is founder and CEO of local artisanal perfume label, Scent by 6.
So we look forward to you lifting our moods
And
in the
spirits.
future.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Hossan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
Stanley.
see you next time on The Leong Form. I'm Hossan.
Smell good.
You smell good, man.
I smell good, what?
Okay, it's time. The Leong Form podcast is brought to you by Double Confirm Productions.
That's right, and you can stream and subscribe as well as scream all about it of our show on all major podcast platforms. You're talking about Spotify and Apple.
And we're also on YouTube, so don't forget to like the YouTube channel as well as subscribe to it. Make your comments there, leave everything, ask questions and all that. And we will also update you on the brand new episodes that will come along.